Who else have we got on? We've got David on.
David here. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you? I also have another person that's going to join me in a moment here, but she's got her eyes in a something or other.
Is that the wonderful Brigitte?
Pardon?
Bridget.
No, it's not the one.
Brigitte.
Okay. I've got to get a speaker. Hang on a second.
So Jerry, if I put on my phone Facebook Live, will it show up on there? Because I can't seem to pick it up.
Oh, you could just live yourself as well through your phone. Just set your phone up to record you at the same time if you want to.
Oh, that's okay. You're recording it here, so
Yeah,
I can see it later.
Yeah.
If I wanted to, yeah.
Now, I'll just ask everyone else to mute while we're introducing, and we can all jump in and ask questions, I'm sure. So welcome everyone to the, what night is it? Monday night call for the All for One community. And tonight we have got on the absolute legend of direct sales, as I call her, Lucia Cardamone, has been with Nutrimetics for how many years now? Over 40?
45 this year.
Wow, 45. So that shows how long I've known you, because I think you were saying about 40 years when I first met you. So, we met through the business marketplace, of course, didn't we? Where quite a few of us have all met. And Lucia said tonight that she would love to share her story with us and how, what she's seen in the industry over the past 40 years, how times have changed. Oh. I always love hearing the little story of how you started out as well, Lucia.
Yeah.
And before you get started, I know we don't do any sales pitches or anything like this, but how good is this product from Nutrimetics? I got a lip gloss from Nutrimetics, and it came with a mirror. Not only a mirror, but check this out. Light up LED torch in it, and so then you can light up your lips and put your lip gloss on while looking in the mirror. I was shocked. I was like, this is the best invention ever. So you got to love direct selling companies. So over to you, Lucia. Wow, with more lip gloss.
Yeah, so thanks, Jerry, and thanks, everyone. Nice to see a few familiar names here. So, yeah, I started in direct selling when I was 19 years of age. I lived in a house with 4 other girlfriends in Brunswick. We were fresh out of school, and I had been working at Myer doing a cadetship in retail for 2 years straight out of school. And given that I was the only human being in that year 12 that didn't pass year 12, I got to work at Myers. I was asked to work there, given that I'd been working there Friday nights and Saturday mornings. Friday night shopping had only just started back then, and so it was in the second year of that cadetship that I had someone knock on my front door who said that he was selling Renaware saucepans. So back in 1975, Renaware saucepans were about $600 for a set of them. And that was a lot of money back then, a lot of money. My weekly wage at the time was $37.70. And he, he's trying to do the whole, steak knife thing and soup and saucepan thing, and we're all killing ourselves laughing. And as he's walking out the door, he said, look, I can see you guys are not interested in saucepans, maybe some skincare and makeup. The girl that lives next door to me sells this product called Nutrimetics. So I rang her, she came out and gave us a demonstration. And as she's telling me, because I worked with people in the menswear section of Myers that were gossip merchants. Like it was like I'd work on one counter and they would be gossiping about the people on that counter, and I just hated it. I hate it because I'm thinking, man, if they do that there, well, imagine what they're saying about me. So when this girl was telling me how she won this trip to Hong Kong and Penang, she had a company car, she worked her own hours, she determined how much money she could make. I, at 19, said to her, and I've got no idea what I'm getting myself in for, but I just said to her, what do I have to do what you're doing? And she said, oh, you just buy this kit. So I bought this kit. The kit was $39.90, so it was more than my weekly wage. And I just loved the product. I loved the fact that the products were natural. I loved that they weren't tested on animals like this. It was kind of like all the things that sat right with me, you know. So these days when I hear people wanting to get into an industry, I go, look, you know, it's just whatever sits right with you, you know, is where you'll feel, you know, feel comfortable. Anyway, so and I joined, and within 8 months I became a manager with Nutrimetics. I got my first company car, you know, got my first trip overseas. And that's when I gave up working full time, and I've been doing Nutrimetics full time ever since. So, so I'm one of those people. I'm one of the 25,000 people in Australia that are involved in a direct selling company and do it full time. So out of the 500,000 people, just under 500,000 people that are in Australia that are in direct selling companies, 25,000 of us are actually full-time in the company. So I'm one of them. And so, you know, it's a big industry. You know, last year, the year before, last year's figures actually aren't even final, but the year before, 2018, I know that it was $1.2 billion of products sold just in Australia from, you know, those people. So, yeah, from just under 500,000 people. Anyway, so, and my journey, look, I was blessed to be in a team where I had great, what we say in the industry, uplines. You know, my sponsor, the girl that introduced me into the company was very generous, honest, you know, really, she lived in Melton and I lived in Noble Park, Brunswick when I first started. Then I moved to Noble Park. So I used to drive or get driven from there to there. There was kind of nothing in between. There weren't any meeting rooms or training rooms, and I just did whatever. I think I've missed probably only 4 weekly trainings in my entire 45 years. So training is something that I've been hungry for, or I've been delivering the training. So I love learning. I've been an early adapter with technology, mostly, not as great as some people, but way ahead of, I mean, my age group, I'm just nearly, you know, I'm 64 and a half. And most of my friends that are that age, like literally do not have the techno skills that I've got. So I'm teaching them what a Zoom meeting is. I've been using Zoom for a number of years, and for them, it's like this, they've been forced to use Zoom now with COVID-19. So yeah, the industry has changed a lot, because when I started, I had a little kitchen bench and a phone that sat on the bench. Mobile phones hadn't been, you know, invented. Computers hadn't been invented. Like, I mean, they might have been invented somewhere, but they weren't on my radar, that's for sure. So 1975, it was 1988 when I got my first computer, 1988 when I got my first mobile phone. So up until then, everything was done on the phone. So I've learnt a lot about customer service. I've learnt a lot about myself. I've learnt a lot. I mean, public speaking is something that I have grown up with. So speaking in front of thousands of people is something that I've done on a number of occasions. So it's not like it's foreign to me. So I feel very blessed with the opportunities and the skills that I've gained through being involved in this industry. And again, like I say, in my uplines have so much to do with that. Like I said, I was blessed with incredible uplines who you know, respected and acknowledged, and always showed their appreciation, as did the owners of the company. So many of you will know Bill and Imelda Roach, who owned Nutrimetics for a number of years. But prior to that, the man that started the company, I mean, he owned the company right through till 1991. And I knew him quite well. Mr. Nobbs was an absolute fruitcake in some people's eyes. You know, he was up there with the fairies with his entrepreneurial. I mean, our company, you know, we were a wellness company before we were a skincare company, and we had organic cleaning products before we had the skincare. We still have them. And they were designed to clean pesticides off fruit and vegetables. Go figure. This is in 1958. You know, so he was way ahead of his time. And so, you know, being exposed to someone like him, and then, like I said, the Roach family, they just such incredible people. And yeah, so I think that, you know, if I think about the learnings have been around integrity in the business. I know that some people have used direct selling as a journey onto other things. So I made it a destination. So that was a choice. There's been many occasions where I could have gone off and done other things. I think probably in my 45 years, I've probably thought about it really about maybe, I don't know, 3 times, maybe 3 or 4 times I've thought about doing other stuff. But I have choice and I have freedom and I've got flexibility, and I don't know that I want to give those things away. So, and you know, like I've traveled like so many times, and I grew up on a dairy farm. So before I came to Melbourne to go to boarding school, I grew up on a farm with 3 brothers. So I know what hard physical work is, and I know what it is not to have freedom, you know, because when you're on a dairy farm, there is no such thing as freedom. Well, back then, and the way that we ran the farm, Dad ran the farm, there was, you know, it was kind of, he was tied to it, and that's how I grew up. And then, you know, coming across this and having total freedom, yeah, I don't know that I want to, you know, give that away. And I've always worked from home. So since I was 20 years of age, I've worked from home. So every time someone asks me at the moment with the COVID-19, you know, how are you coping working from home? I go, actually, nothing's changed. And because Nutrimetics has been an early adapter when it came to technology and direct to customer orders and all of that, you know, it really has been a very easy transition to the stage where we're at right now. And because we've been using video conferencing, you know, our party, and we've always been a social selling company, the transition's been pretty easy, because all we've done is, instead of getting dressed up and going out to do demonstrations, I get dressed up and I come into my office and do them. So nothing much there has changed. So as far as the training, I'm able to train my girls. I've got girls and guys in my team that are all over Australia. So I've been, like I said, using video conferencing for training for some time. So I do that one-to-one or do it as a group thing. Yeah, so I've done, you know, a fair bit of that. So as far as, you know, the opportunities that have arisen, it's really been about growing my skills, but within the industry. So I've become my own event organizer, my own public speaker, my own coach, my own techno person. I've had, you know, and through the years I've had PAs working for me. I mean, right up until say 1992, I had a PA working for me full time in my office. So and then once technology became everything that it is, you know, I've had spurts of needing someone in the office, but the company does all the back end administration, so I don't need to pay anyone to do that. So that's kind of taken care of that part of it. I do run my own database and customer servicing presently. So that's about to be cranked up on our new website, the company website. So again, that'll take care of some of the hands-on part of the databasing. So and I've met amazing people that, you know, through the industry, through the Direct Selling Association, through all the other direct selling companies, and all of the international speakers that have come into both for the company and the industry. I've been really blessed to have met a lot of the gurus throughout the place. And so that's been great. It's been exciting. And again, I still, you know, like to use the home base as my workplace. And I'd love it if you ask me some questions too, because, you know, I mean, I could rave on, and I don't want to be, you know, talking about the company as such, but more about my journey.
I just want to know, Lucia, you know, what have been some of the biggest changes in the way that you guys, even that you sell, you know, the selling techniques, have they changed? Well, you know, obviously the technology, you know, you've moved with the technology, but what would be the biggest thing that you do now compared to 40 years ago or so?
Well, now I run the customer service part of it like clockwork. You know, there are things that I do on certain days of the month so that customers know that they can count, and I offer all the different forms of communication. So if they want our monthly brochure comes out, the company does an amazing job putting that together. But, you know, some people want a hard copy in the mail, so that requires, so I send out quite a few hundred brochures in the mail. I do that myself. So there is all of that prep that is done for that print post mail out that goes out. There's the e-brochure that goes out. There's the PDF that goes out, all of the same thing. So because everyone's level of technology that's receiving the communication is very different, it's like I'm providing all of it for all the different types of degrees of you know, of skills at the other end. So doing that is definitely important. And also with customers, see, the customers that want that face-to-face, they were wanting that. Again, the issue's been forced. Like now I'm doing, like at the moment, like today, the company announced a $14.90 lipstick sale for a couple of days. So literally I've got the lipstick sitting here, and I've got and I'm showing customers the colours and getting them to show me colours in their wardrobe, like what colours do they like to wear. So they've got their phone, they're walking around their wardrobe, they're showing me the colours, and I go, well, okay, so that's what I call cool colours. So explaining what cool colours are and what warm colours are and how you choose your colours. And I can look at their skin and actually pick foundations colours for them. So that I would have had to have once been face-to-face with someone. But I can do that now for anyone around Australia. They don't even have to live in Melbourne. Like literally I can do that. So that's something that is very, very different. You know, before, you know, we only did party plan. Now there's selling social on, you know, doing a live video, like I did a video this morning with the lipsticks, you know, just showing people, and all of a sudden all these people want to order these lipsticks or these colour books or whatever it is that I was talking about. There's a couple of colour books, colour coding books that I've got access to, and so I'm showing people those and how to use them and how you can tell what colour hair colour you should put into your hair, and lipstick and blush and jewellery and blah blah blah, all of that. So, and people go, yeah, I'll have one of that. So quickly, like, and one of my colleagues, just as an example, one of my colleagues on Saturday did a 5-minute video, just 5 minutes, a little bit less than 5-minute video about this little trio pack that the company put on. She got $3,500 worth of sales from a 5-minute post. Now, the earnings for a manager, I mean, we're on, you know, 52% of what we personally sell. So that is a big income for a 5-minute post. Yeah. So that's the sort of thing that, as long as, and she's a normal complicated kind of, like just really natural girl that just used her own, and she's dropped things, like being normal. And, just people, just bang, bang, bang. And it inspires, other people who are struggling with getting on social media. So that's the biggest change. And just things are so quick. People, they once used to, pay in 2 weeks from delivery. Now everything's instant. Now I can, even when we could see each other, I would have a stall, I'd have my square on the table, and people could buy things like instantly. Things are very, very quick now. Yeah.
And has that, as far as the industry goes, has that made it more attractive for younger people to join, because they
yes,
can be like just make instant sales and things like that?
I've got, look, just since Maya closed down, so their cosmetics section, since the whole store has closed down, their cosmetics section, and I think some of you will be aware of this because it was on the news the other night, their cosmetics section, skincare and cosmetics, has gone up 200% since closing the retail store.
Oh, their online sales, you mean?
Yeah, online sales. So online has definitely, because it's so in your face, so to speak, people can, and I've got a couple of girls, 2 girls that have come from, 2 guys and a couple of girls that have come from ex-retail, and they're loving it. They don't have to get dressed up to go to work. They're on their computers. They're doing little videos. They're very creative, and they're normal. They're not glamour girls. They're not bling bling, like they're just natural, people just want natural people, speaking naturally, and it's easy. It's not, it's, when I say it's easy, it's not confronting, so for people who they're on social media anyway, well, if you've got a couple of spare hours, whether it be Nutromedics or whether it be Isogenics or any of the other companies, it doesn't matter. You'll find that you get into the direct selling industry that someone can make some quick money as long as your integrity is in place, as long as everything else backs up, what you're doing and saying, because none of that changes, your integrity. And if that's in place, you're going to find that will back up the words that are coming out of your mouth. Because, when you deliver product, when you take payment from people, if you do everything that you say that you're going to do as well, then you can build a great business very quickly, So
just, speaking of integrity, like, obviously that's hugely important in the industry. But, is there some things that you've seen over time that, some things have really stood out versus some things have been really bad,
Look, it's people, it's not companies. I think the important thing for me is that it's about individuals that either have integrity or don't. It's not companies. No company sets out to make a product or distribute product or employ people to be dishonest, I just, and sometimes, the people are brand new. They've never been in business. They don't know that they should be doing so. I mean, when I was 19, I had no idea, I copied my uplines. I just did what they were doing. I just did it the way they did until I had the confidence to have my own style, to have my own parameters, my own way of doing things. But, it took a good year or so because it's not something that I was used to. Look, I have seen some, terrible things being done, but those people don't last. Look, they might do it a month, 2 months, but people without integrity in this industry do not last.
Yeah, they
might go
right.
from company to company to company to company looking for, but, the thing that it's about your own, doing. It's you create everything that's coming to you. That's my belief. Yes. Yeah. So I just find that I need to be a better person be a better business person, be a better, consultant, be a better manager, be a better leader, be a better, and what is it that I need to do to really give my team and my customers everything that they need. So with my customers, it's making sure that they've got solutions for the things that are really peeving them off. It might be the condition of their skin. It might be the pimples their kids are breaking out with. I mean, getting emails from, a customer, I won't try and find it now, but like just last week, I was showing my partner an email that I got from a customer. Now, but having problems with your skin, people might think it's all putting all these products on there. It's what we put on the inside. It's the food that we eat. It's the emotions that we feel. It's the amount of water that we drink. There's so many things that, it's not just my products that are going to make the skin better. There's so many things that, not to think that it's just your product. It's a whole bunch of things that contribute. So to get emails from mums who say, Lucia, so-and-so, she didn't, she was really peeved off when she thought that she wasn't going to be able to have dairy, because dairy and wheat are two different things, two things that really do impact on the skin a lot more so with some people than other people. And so, when I suggest to people that they take themselves off wheat and dairy just for 1 week at a time or 2 weeks at a time, just to see if it makes a difference. And I got a picture, a picture before and an after picture of the 2 weeks with, different, I love it. I love making a difference for people. And so, when their whole family is then buying their skincare from me, it's because you've said things that, are honest and from your experience. And I mean, from 45 years of listening to other practitioners at stalls, you pick up a lot, about diet, about emotions, about, the amount of fluid, all of the acidity levels, alkalinity levels, like that's got nothing to do with my skincare, but all of those things make an impact. So, and paying honour to those people that give you that information, and then being able to pass that on to other people and you see it makes a difference to their skin. So just wanting to learn and be better. I mean, I read lots of books. I've been to lots of seminars. I've learned a lot from a lot of very generous people about a number of different industries that impact my industry. So I like to be able to share those things. So,
what's one of the best sort of personal development things that you've been to? Like I know there's a lot of training in the industry. Like I was doing a couple of things before going back into my marketing business. At the start of having kids, tried a few different things, and the training that was available during that time was incredible, and it got me linked into so many different things. So what's some of the best things that have been provided for you?
Oh gosh. Well, so many, like knowledge. I heard someone say the other day, knowledge is, well, some people say knowledge is power, but it's only potential power. Because I heard Bob Proctor speak when I was 20 years of age, and Dr. Dennis Wayne Dyer as well. And I met them personally, like I was introduced to them.
Wow.
And so I bought Bob Proctor's program at the age of 20, but I just couldn't do the whole repetition thing. And I just thought, nah. And I had it sitting in my offices over the years, and I ended up giving it away. But right now, I listen a lot to Bob Proctor, because it really is about reprogramming the inherent self-limiting beliefs that you have about yourself. So really, creating a new wiring in the brain, because, it's an old record that especially, when you have the same thing happening in your life over and over again. Like you think, no, it's that person. No, it's not that person. No, it's not that person. It's that person. No, it's over here. Like I'm the common denominator in the relationship. So the best seminar I ever did, I don't know whether Alistair's still on the call, but the best that got to me at a level where I really got to see that it was over here was actually the Landmark Forum.
Yeah, Alistair he's still on the call. I've unmuted him, so he can have a chat if he
I
wants.
had unmuted myself, but I could not get a word in. So,
and someone else is
good.
waving
Which is good
as well. Who is that, Dave?
So, I'm with you, Lucia. It's everyone has their own flavour, I guess, of how to navigate their way through life and learn and grow.
No, it's not.
Look, for me, I've never had a major breakdown with my parents, but I would go and visit my family. I always thought that they didn't get me. I was the only daughter, 3 brothers. I'm not important. They can't see me. They listen to my brothers all the time. So I made up this little story in my head that I'm not important. They don't care. They don't love me. And, I'm out of here. So when I had the opportunity to go to boarding school when I was 14, it was like, yes, please, God, please let me go to, so I begged, it was like, Dad, please let me go to boarding. So I went to boarding school and, and life takes its course and all the rest. And I just made it like there was a problem with them. They were the problem. They didn't get me. They didn't understand me. They don't know me. They, and I'm the one that was married 3 times, not them. Right. So, and my friends would say to me, and I love my friends dear. I really love my friends. And they would say, he was not good enough for you, Lucia, or he blah, 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 or he blah. And then when I did the Landmark Forum, I'm thinking, oh my God, it's me. I'm the one. I'm the one that is not accepting them, not understanding them, not, believing, blah, 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 all the rest of it. So I got it at a deeper level. And I used to go and visit my parents every couple of weeks, but I'd drive home because I lived an hour and a half from Melbourne, bawling my eyes out every time I drive home. They don't get me, blah, blah. Anyway, and I did the Landmark Forum and had some great conversations with my parents that I'd never had. So an incident happened to me when I was quite young, 7 years of age, and ended up in a courtroom with my primary school teacher and my family. And from that court case, I was 50 years of age when I did the Landmark Forum, and we had never spoken about that incident in 43 years. So not a word, so I had a conversation with Mum and Dad about that and how come and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it got to the point where I then, and Mum and Dad had never been back to Italy since they came to Australia. Dad, 1938, Mum in 1949. And so out of being able to create authentic, beautiful relationship with my parents, I got to take them back to Italy. So my dad at 83 years of age got to go back to Italy with my nephew, which is his only grandson. So we got to have fantastic, and my dad's just recently passed away 2 months ago after he was 96. And I feel very, very privileged to have had the best 15 years with my dad in his later years. So, and it is about relationships, the whole direct selling industry. But you know what? Annie's sitting there. Relationships are the key to everything. It's the key to business. It's the key to family. It's the key to everything. And so when you have a great relationship with you have the ability to have great relationships with other people, and you can sort out anything in a conversation. So that's really, I've done lots of training. I've done heaps of seminars, but the one that really where it got to and I did all the training there, did the Introduction Leaders Program, did all the courses there, and was involved there on a weekly basis for a long, long time. So I really am very grateful, to what they do, how they do it, and that's changed as well. So, over the years, because I had known about Landmark 20 years prior to it doing it, but I kept telling people, no, I don't need to do that because I do those seminars in nutrigenetics. I don't need, no, I'm all good. I'm good on personal development. And then, and after the third marriage, it was like, what am I doing wrong? And as it turned out, one thing led to another. I then came across someone who invited me to go along, and the rest is history. So, so that's really Bob Proctor, Landmark Forum, Dr. Joe Dispenza, highly recommend the work that they all do. Just really about getting to know you and having good relationship with you and creating the world the way that you want it and taking full 100% responsibility. Because I have created every single thing that's happened and every relationship and every bank account and everything is totally, I'm 100% responsible for it. And
So do you think you'll keep doing this for the rest of your days?
Well, look, yes, I do, but I do other things as well. So I'm a Rotarian as well.
Mm-hmm.
And my partner and I have just bought a boat just at Christmas time. So we're going to create a business there with that. So, and until that, I feel that I contribute and can give actively to my customers and my people, until I see that they would be better off in the hands of someone else. I think I can keep going for some time yet. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Always.
And also the industry, not just my own customers, but also the industry. So, every now and again you get asked to speak at different things. And
Is there anyone that's been on this journey alongside of you the whole time?
You mean a partner? Do you mean?
Or just like someone that has been doing this as long as you have?
Oh, yeah. So in nutrigenetics, definitely. Like I'm one of the original, what they call pioneers in nutrigenetics. That I was a little bit unusual. I was very young, like as you can gather, I was 19 when I started, whereas most of the managers, like I was 20 years of age, but most of the managers, like all of the other managers, were 40. Like they were in their 40s and 50s. So some of them have passed on.
Yeah.
A couple of them have now passed on, and the others, they have still got dynamic businesses. I mean, dynamic. And my business, like it's a great business, and there are obviously larger businesses. I mean, I've got about 1,000 people in my team. Some of my colleagues have got, way more than that. So you'll find that, depending on life situations, some of them haven't been married 3 times, so they didn't have the dips in business and what have you. So that can play obviously a toll on you, because at the time, not only I think with the, I've been audited by the tax office twice, 2 years running. I had 3 marriages. I had a court case with my next door neighbour, all happening at the same time. So, when you have things happening all at the same time. So, look, I'm very grateful now, because the learnings were enormous, as you can imagine. But yeah, no, there are quite a few. There would be in nutrigenetics, same kind of time as me, of the pioneers. There's probably still about 25 of us. Yeah, but I'm like at the younger end of the original bunch that were with Mr. Nobbs and with the Roaches at the time. Yeah.
Fabulous. So, speaking of learnings, what do you think? What's one of your biggest learnings that has come out of your career?
To be set up financially, to have to get your money matters absolutely in order. Have your money matters and your health and your emotional intelligence, like to be working on those things all the time, and to have things that you're prepared to do and things that you're not prepared to do. Make sure that you've got set boundaries where, you know, there are things that, that you're just not prepared to compromise on, and to always be learning, like always be learning, always.
Fabulous. And as far as like, you know, promotional times, like Nutrimenix has a lot of things that you can go for, competitions and trips and things like that. Do you find yourself being really competitive at those times, and really do you like work your ass off at those times to try and achieve those goals? Are you still doing those kinds of things?
The companies always have, like every year we have an international trip. So of the 45 years that I've been with the company, so 44 that I could have gone for a trip. I think it's about, on the first level manager, I've been on about 35 of those, 35 international trips on that. And then of the senior management levels, I've been on, say, another 10 of those. But like really exclusive trips where there was just like 30 of us and 6-star, like magnificent, you know, doing the pyramids and the QE2 from New York to London and stuff like that. London to New York, rather.
Wow.
Beautiful. And just the luxury car program. So, you know, I've had company cars all of my life. I own the car I drive now, only because my hubby's, when I turned 60, it was like, you know, how about we buy you a car? You know, like it was just more of a, you know, a bit of a spoil thing. You know, I drive a beautiful red Jag, which is gorgeous. So it was more of a, you know, special time of my life, and I don't have kids or anything. So, you know, it was a bit of a treat. So, but the company has a very generous car program. So beautiful cars, international trip. Yeah, I do, you know, like working for those things. You know, it's also, it's like the KPIs, and, you know, anyone who works in any other business has got certain targets that you need to meet. One, to be employed, and one for the companies that you work for to grow. So for us, it's about, you know, if you're achieving those targets, you're, you know, growing your business, growing your income, keeping up with the you know, the price of everything that's out there. If you're not having that growth in your income, you're not being able to pay your bills. So it's, you know, you know, our KPIs are productivity rates and activity rates and the number of consultants that you've got in your team. So, you know, we've got them as well. They just kind of look different, you know. So growing, you know, we had a pretty flat, you know, end of year last year and flat beginning to this year, but we've had growth since March. So we've had an incredible growth in March and in April. In my own personal team, we had a 22% growth for the month of April. So, which is great, you know, and obviously some of the things that we're doing, obviously, you know, kicking in this environment, which is, you know, terrific. So
just one last question for tonight, Lucia. What would you say? Like, there's
what time is it?
Oh, we're at about 8:45.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
You know, this is a time where a lot of people have been looking for a new plan B or a new plan A, depending on their circumstance. And I've heard that, you know, a lot of direct selling businesses have picked up because of that, like even with people that don't have a job at Myer at the moment. What would you say to anyone starting out in the industry now? What advice would you give them?
Just you know, I think that's what's important, because for some people, their opinion of the direct selling industry may not have been a favourable one. So parking that opinion to the side when you're having a look at the business, because that could blur the way you look at the opportunity. So I would park any opinion that you've had about the industry, because MLMs and direct selling, for some people, it's a kind of a no-go zone. The industry has a lot to offer. the industry, the structure of the industry has a lot to offer. The companies have a lot to offer. The way that we do things, I mean, everything's changing out there. Like there is definitely a change happening. Companies, people that I know that work for large corporations are saying to themselves, you know, do I really need to pay all this rent and have all this space for this business? You know, companies are not, you know, their productivity in working from home is up 33%. So don't tell me that things are not going to change. So, you know, is someone going to be able to do this in conjunction with other stuff that you do? Of course. You know, there's plenty of people that have wanted to have a little play, a little dabble in the industry, give it a shot, you know. So you've got nothing to lose. You know, you either come into the business to save money or make money. And some people do both. So, you know, have a coffee with me on the screen. Even if it's not my company that you join, I'm happy to share about the industry and what kind of things and companies to look for based on, you know, I'm not precious. It's not going. The world doesn't all rotate around nutriomedics. I mean, that's where I've, you know, put my time and energy over the 45 years. But there's some great companies out there, really great companies, and so, you know, take an unbiased look at what it is. It definitely gives you freedom. It definitely, I mean, you know, in our company, you can earn on personal size up to 52% on what you sell. You know, you get I get a car allowance of $1,200 a month car allowance. You know, I mean, where are you going to get that? You know, I get international travel every year, 5-star. You know, I mean, I don't know. You know, and that in itself is changing as well. That's all evolving. Unfortunately, I'm in a company that is moving ahead of itself. You know, they are, like I said, they were early adapters into video conferencing, into online selling, onto, I mean, way ahead of some companies that really, I'm surprised that they weren't ready to go with what's happening right now. So I'd be happy to have a coffee with anyone and to talk about any company. It doesn't have to be just nutriomedics, but the sorts of things, questions, because sometimes you don't know what you don't know. So sometimes it's good to have someone who's been involved in the industry to know the sorts of questions that you need to be asking in order for you to meet your needs, you know.
Now, Luke's had his hand up. I don't know if he's done that on purpose. Have you got a question, Luke?
I do. Welcome. Hello, everybody. Thanks for the presentation. Well, the chat, Lucia, it's been fantastic. I've got a few rapid fire questions, and this is purely from a sales guru perspective, all right?
Yep.
How important is training to achieve consistent outcomes and results in the space that you work in?
Oh, okay. So how important is training? Training's very important.
Yep.
But I would say that there's something more important than that. And that for me, it is about you and what you want and your purpose and your drive and your ambition. You know, you can get into some companies where there is no training. It's got nothing to do with the training. You know, it's up to you to pull it to you. Like it's not, you know, because some people come in and go, train me, like do me. It's like in relationships, you know, do me. And I know that when I've been in relationships, it's like do me instead of what I could give, you know. So, so I would say training's important, but I don't think it's the most important. No.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Excellent. And what's the highest leverage sales tool that you go to? Like what you go to? Is it the phone? Is it lumpy mail? Is it face to face? Is it email?
Right now, it's the phone and it's video conferencing. Like I have spoken more now to customers than I have for a very long time. Like customers, I'm calling more people and more people are calling me. Like I'm actually using the phone a lot now, a lot. Whereas for the last, really for the last 10 years, like it's actually, people want to talk to you now. Like when you
Yeah.
ring, they answer the phone. Whereas for a long time, I can imagine that people go, oh, it's Annie Callis. No, I don't feel like talking to her right now. So so I know that has been the case. I've felt a little bit like that myself. And I felt that, and customers have actually said it to me. No, it's all good. No, I can get that information from the website, Whereas now they want you to talk it through. They want to see the colours. They want you to hold things up and go, here, see, can you see that? Can you see that colour? So it's, people are more animated right now.
All right, so phone and video, and I kind of think the phone's been a bit of a lost art in sales since forever. So yeah, I really agree with that. Yeah. And the last one, what is your superpower?
Look out, we might put it on a t-shirt.
My superpower is inspiring people. My superpower is being able to believe in people more than they believe in themselves.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, awesome. Love it. I love it.
Good
Great.
question.
Thank you.
Great
Thank you.
questions,
Thank
Luke.
you for allowing me to ask the questions.
I'm
Much
going to
appreciated.
lower your hand here. Whoop, there we go.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, Lucia, that has been fabulous tonight. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for the questions. Did anyone else have any questions? Sandra, did you have any questions?
I just have a comment for Lucia. I just found that I was in awe of what you were saying. When you said you work for Nutrimedics, I went, I wonder what her angle is here. But you made me feel so comfortable that it was like you were an old friend. And I immediately felt that connection. So I can understand why you're so successful in what you do. Because your integrity and your honesty just shines right through. So I just wanted to thank you that you instilled more faith in me, that there are people out there like you. And so that was just really beautiful to hear and to watch you come alive. You just the work. It was just beautiful.
What an opportunity too. You don't hear many people say that they've gotten to go on 35 world trips in their life, eh?
No, I've been on more than 50, total. And honestly, I've been to some magnificent. The trip that we did to New York. I could tell you about that.
Yeah, you don't get those opportunities in corporate, really, do you? So, yeah, what amazing.
So I can add to what Sandra was saying. Lucia will remember she asked for Christmas casuals a few years ago, and I nominated my daughter as someone who wanted to explore fashion, and so for a little while, Layla was being supported and mentored by Lucia, and in the end, whichever part of it wasn't for her, so she didn't go on with it, but it was great. There was a real solid kind of training framework and support framework, and so there's another idea for anyone listening. If you've got younger people, especially who are interested in this world and I don't know where to start, couldn't recommend anyone more.
And Nutrimedics took a lot of people under their wings too. Like when Avon collapsed in Australia, there are a lot of long-term Avon people that were looking for a new company.
Yeah, it's when Avon closed down, when Mary Kay recently closed down. I grew up with those companies not side by side, because our company is way bigger than both of those. Well, not so much Avon, because Avon's massive, but to see those poor girls, their businesses closed. They didn't even know that the companies were closing until it was publicly announced. And terrible.
Yeah. I know. Like my cousin-in-law was with Avon for a long time, and she's loving being with Nutrimedics now. but they really looked after her, so that was great. That's what she needed. So thank you. It has, like I said, been a great chat tonight. This is not a plug for Nutrimedics. This is just all about what someone has achieved in their 45-year career in one business. That's pretty incredible feat. So,
and someone with runs on the board that people can tap into for mentoring for some other thinking, experienced thinking. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you offer your own mentoring services, Lucia?
Well, I don't offer them outside of the industry. No, I don't. Yeah.
Oh, maybe something to think about for the future, your next career.
My next career. Anyway, thanks so much for this, guys. So,
yeah.
Jerry.
And next week we have on Sandra Capito. Sandra, do you want to unmute yourself? Here, I'll unmute you. Here you go. Oh, there we go.
I don't know how I'm going to follow Lucia. That was amazing. Reflecting on what I'll be actually talking with you guys about, and I'm just going to be as honest really as Lucia. I'm in the midst of starting my own business. I have come very late in the game with my age, but I think the time is right for me. So I'm just going to tell you where I am, where I've come from, and what my purpose and meaning is, and what I want to get out of the business. Very similar to what Lucia speaks about, integrity and honesty and being true to myself is a big part of my business, and I want to start like that and stay like that. So that's what I'll be discussing. I don't know if I can answer any of your questions, Luke, but bring it on. I'll try.
That's all right. I'll keep it to a minimum of 4. They'll be rapid fire, however, and they need to be answered in 3 minutes. We'll grade you after. No. It's as it comes. I look forward to it.
We expect to hear the 7 shocking secrets as well.
That's right.
Exactly. Yep. We need the catch line.
Maybe next week it can be a little bit of a brainstorming session for you or something as well, Sandra.
Yeah, I think I've got to focus. It's just now getting it going and getting the connections, because I feel now that I'm quite restless. I just want to get it going, I just want to get it, come on, let's move now.
Yeah.
So, and I'm quite an impatient person, so that doesn't help the situation. Yeah. Anyway, enough about me. This is Lucia's night.
Well, I was just introducing next week's speaker. So there you go. Yes.
Nice little segue.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Again,
thanks, Lucia.
Thanks, Lucia.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Yeah, thank you.
Anyone who's been watching this live on Facebook, we are the All for One community, and you can find us by searching for All for One, One for All on Facebook, or go to bit.ly/all-for-one-community using the numeral 4, and you will find that being a link to our Facebook group. So, and you can also see our Facebook page, which is live on. And we do this every Monday night, currently at 8 o'clock Melbourne time. It's Melbourne, Australia, for anyone watching overseas. in case you didn't guess that accent.
And there's always a bloody shrimp on the barbie for you. So join us.
Yes.
Love it.
Always a shrimp on the barbie. All right, everyone, have a great week in business. And as usual, if you are around, we have Friday night happy hour at 5 p.m. Melbourne time. If anyone wants to join us for a drink, I conveniently, I'll show you. This is my bar. Hold on. All of you can just move. Where's my bar gone? Here's my bar. There we go. This is what we show on a Friday night. So,
and we're allowed more than 5 people in the on the call now too. So that's good.
Yeah, we are allowed more than 5 people.
A virtual bar.
Yeah.
So jump in. Yeah.
Gin and tonics and beer welcome.
Yep, definitely.
All right. Hope to see some of
one.
you at 5 o'clock on Friday night. Have a great week, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Good night.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.